In this video, we're going to go over the history of Mad River Glen and how it came to be one of the most unique skiing destinations in America. Nestled in the heart of Vermont's Green Mountains, Mad River Glen stands as a defiant time capsule in an industry dominated by corporate expansion and modernization. Its story begins with one man's vision to preserve the pure essence of skiing and continues today through a remarkable experiment in cooperative ownership that has kept this mountain a sacred ground for skiing purists for over 75 years. The genesis of Mad River Glen can be traced to Roland Palmedo, a naval aviator and skiing pioneer who had already left his mark on the sport by the 1940s. While serving in both World Wars, Palmedo was instrumental in founding several skiing institutions, including the Williams Outing Club, the U.S. Women's Ski Team, and the National Ski Patrol. He had helped develop Stowe Mountain Resort, but by the mid-1940s, Palmedo had grown disillusioned with how Stowe was evolving. According to his son Philip, Roland was displeased at how quickly success was spoiling the rural character of Stowe. Determined to create a ski area where sport, not profit, would be the focus, Palmedo and his colleagues, James Negley Cook and Charlie Lord, began scouring Vermont's mountains for the perfect location. After considering more than 28 potential sites over 3 years, they selected General Stark Mountain in Fayston. The mountain's northern exposure guaranteed excellent snow retention, and crucially, the land was privately owned, allowing greater autonomy in development. In November 1946, Palmedo formed what would become the Mad River Corporation and secured options on land owned by Parker Young Lumber Company and Ward Lumber Company. By June 1947, with backers including members of the Rockefeller family and radio broadcaster Lowell Thomas, the corporation was ready to begin developing a ski area with a planned 2,000-foot vertical drop. Palmedo's philosophy for Mad River Glen was simple but revolutionary: work with nature, not against it. Only by walking up, down, and across the mountainous bowl Palmedo chose for Mad River Glen could he feel, sense, see where and how the trails should be cut to fully utilize the terrain's contour, thereby providing the best possible fall line skiing experience, wrote Mary Kerr in her History of the Mountain. Construction began in 1947, with the centerpiece being a single chairlift built by American Steel and Wire Company. On December 11, 1948, Mad River Glen officially opened, with Vermont Governor Ernest Gibson in attendance. The initial trails included Catamount, Chute, Fall Line, Porcupine, and Grand Canyon, all designed to retain the character of natural trails rather than becoming wide, bulldozed slopes. The ski area's early years were challenging, with poor snow conditions and financial losses. However, by the early 1950s, Mad River Glen was establishing itself as one of the premier ski destinations in the East. Improvements continued with new trails like the Glade, designed with interspersed trees to hold snow well, and the practice slope with a new rope tow. By 1954, the single chair's uphill capacity was increased from 220 to 440 people per hour, adding 69 new chairs and upgrading the engine and counterweight. The next few years saw significant expansion of access to the mountain. The paving of the McCullough Turnpike, now Route 17, over Appalachian Gap in 1957 dramatically improved winter access to the ski area. Meanwhile, Ken Quackenbush assumed the general manager position in 1957, beginning a leadership tenure that would span decades. By the 1960s, Mad River Glen expanded with two significant additions: the Sunnyside Complex in 1961 to 62, which provided a second top-to-bottom lift and less expert terrain, and the Birdland area in 1966 to 67, offering novice and intermediate terrain with its own double chairlift. The practice slope chair replaced a T-bar, marking the last new chairlift installation at Mad River Glen to date. A significant ownership change occurred in 1972 when real estate developer Bradford Sweat and Truxton Pratt purchased Mad River Glen from Roland Palmedo. Under this new ownership, the base lodge was expanded and limited snowmaking capabilities were introduced on the practice slope for the 1975-76 season. Tragedy struck in 1975 with the death of Truxton Pratt at age 49. Following her husband's death, Betsy Pratt took control of the ski area, eventually becoming the principal owner. She would prove to be a formidable steward of Palmedo's original vision, fiercely resisting trends toward expansion, snowmaking, and corporate ownership. Under Betsy Pratt's leadership, Mad River Glen became increasingly unique in the ski industry. In 1984, the area introduced its now famous "Ski It If You Can" slogan, created by New York advertising executive Gerald Muro. The slogan emphasized both the mountain's challenging terrain and its dependence on natural snowfall. One of the most distinctive aspects of Mad River Glen emerged during Betsy Pratt's tenure: its stance on snowboarding. While Mad River Glen initially allowed snowboarding starting in the 1986-87 season, difficulties with snowboarders led to restrictions. Following conflicts between snowboarders and management, Betsy Pratt banned snowboarding entirely beginning with the 1991-92 season, cementing Mad River Glen's reputation as a skier's mountain. By the early 1990s, Pratt was looking toward the future of the mountain she had stewarded for nearly 20 years. Rather than sell to a corporate entity, she made the revolutionary decision to sell to the skiers themselves. On December 5, 1995, the Mad River Glen Cooperative was formed, creating the first and only cooperatively owned ski area in America. The cooperative structure allowed Mad River Glen to make significant investments while maintaining its core values. In the late 1990s, the Sunnyside double chair was replaced, extending its useful life. The most significant project came in 2007 with the historic restoration of the iconic single chair. Rather than replace it with a modern, high-capacity lift, shareholders voted overwhelmingly to restore the single chair, preserving its character while upgrading its mechanics. The $1.8 million project, completed through donations coordinated with the Preservation Trust of Vermont and the Stark Mountain Foundation, symbolized Mad River Glen's commitment to its heritage. Today, Mad River Glen continues to operate under the principles that have defined it for more than 7 decades. The story of Mad River Glen isn't one of rapid expansion or modernization, but rather a compelling narrative of preservation, community resilience, and a deep-seated dedication to a timeless vision of skiing. That's it for this week's Leisure Lore. And please do us a favor and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed it. It means the world to us.